Hi, I'm Dana Obleman. This video is part of my free sleep course for kids 25 months and up right here on YouTube. If you could use some more guidance and check out Sleep Sounds Plus, the link is in the description below. Hi, welcome back. All right, tonight is night 10. We're going to make a pretty significant change tonight, but before we do, I just want to circle back around to those of you who are still doing naps. I'm hoping that you're seeing some form of progress in the nap world, although I want to warn you that naps can be for some people the most frustrating piece of the whole program. We don't have melatonin working for us during the day, so that's not helpful. Daytime is fun, right? This is when kids are exploring and running around and having a good time with you. Given the choice, most toddler or preschool children would not take a nap. They do not prefer to take a nap. But we know that it's so important for them to still have that nap. So we've got to hang on. We've got to be the boss around that and make sure that they're getting good quality daytime sleep. So those are the reasons why it's often harder. But I am hoping that you're seeing some sort of success. What typically starts showing up is that the child will fall asleep. So we kind of got that piece figured out, but they're just not sleeping long enough. They're only sleeping, 30, 45 minutes. Now that's very, very common because that's essentially one sleep cycle for a child. We do about a 90 to 120 minute sleep cycle, and children usually do about a 45 minute, maybe hour-long sleep cycle. So what's typical is that they'll fall asleep fairly well. They'll get to the end of that cycle, the 45-minute mark, and have a little wake up. It's a naturally occurring wake up there. But not really be 100% confident with our own skills. Maybe they realize you're not in the room anymore, and that causes a full wake up. And because they've had that cat nap sleep, they're not fatigued enough to go back to sleep well. So the good news is that this should totally wean itself out. In the next week or two, you should see your child start to piece together at least 2 sleep cycles. But for now, there's a couple of things we can do. The first thing we can do is wait. It's only been 45 minutes. She's awake in there, but we are going to wait before we go in. If you can wait 10 minutes, again, that's what I prefer, that magic 10. She might cry pretty hard for 9.5 minutes and then go right back to sleep again. So it's definitely worth a try. If after 10 minutes she's not at all sounded like she's even thinking about going back to sleep, then we can go back into the room, sit back down in our chair, try our key phrase for 5 or 10 minutes to see maybe if being there is helpful at all. If after 20 minutes, though, she's not gone back to sleep, chances are she's not going to. It's not worth putting you both through it, so just go ahead and get her up. You might need to give her a little cat nap in the later afternoon, maybe go for a walk around 3:30, see if she'll take a half-hour nap in the stroller, and then keep your bedtime on track. If she doesn't nap at all in that late afternoon, then move your bedtime earlier. You can always move bedtime earlier. I've had clients where we're putting kids to bed at 5:36 p.m. That's not where bedtime will stay, but for now, if it prevents overtiredness from setting in, it's much better to move bedtime up for a day or two here or there than to try to force her to hang in there until 7. She's getting more and more overtired. Overtiredness is really a child's worst enemy when it comes to sleep. So the more we can minimize that from happening, the better things will go. All right, moving into night 10 tonight. This is a transition night because we ultimately are trying to get you out of this bedroom. So tonight I want you to move your chair around the doorway, and you're going to be sitting half in the room and half out of the room. So you're kind of hidden a little bit by the door, but the child can still see you. And this will be a little odd if you've had the door closed all the way up until now. Leaving the door open a little bit and kind of sitting half in and half out will be a little bit odd for you and the child. But going from being in the room to completely out of the room with this age group just never goes well because there's so much anxiety, so much protest about you leaving the room, that we have to do this sort of gently around the doorway. So make sure that the lights are off in the hall, that nothing is going to interfere with the light level of the bedroom, and you're just going to stay put in that doorway. And she might ask you to come back in the room, or why are you sitting there? Again, we're going to consequence any uncooperative behavior with our closing the door all the way. And if you have to close the door all the way, you just move the chair out of the way, close the door, and hold it closed for increments of time so that she gets the fact that you've moved, it's okay, rules are still the rule, and keep going with the plan. For any nighttime wake-ups, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to just plop back down in your chair in that doorway. All right, I'll see you in the morning. Bye for now.